Star-Lord.
Finish him! Hadouken! Fatality.
And welcome to the 28th episode of Free Your Geek. I am your host, Jay Free. To my left, my co-host, KB.
What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? What's up? And who do we have in the studio today? We have two of my friends, and we're going to be talking a little bit about their geekery. We have Jared and Obi-Wan.
Hello, everybody.
One of them's not their real name. Spoiler alert, it's Jared. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I can't complain. So we've been friends for a couple of years now.
Yep.
And we actually ran into each other at the Rhode Island Comic-Con this year, and you guys both listen to the show.
Yeah.
And you both enjoy it, and you're both like, we would love to be on. So I said, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. So before we get into it, and we also have a potential, and I put it as a spoiler alert on the post earlier today on our Facebook page, but we might be having a call from our friendly neighborhood cosplay Spider-Man. Nice. So that could be kind of fun. But before we do that, we're going to just talk briefly about you guys. I got all kinds of crap in my hands right now. It's kind of fun. So I have my copy of the call sheet. Sure. So we'll start with Jared, then we'll go to Obi-Wan. Okay. Just give me some background about yourself. What do you geek out about, and why? And how old were you like when you started geeking out about that particular subject?
Okay, a very quick and rather unboring background is that I was born and raised in the city of Fall River, and again, I love this show, and I'm a huge fan of the podcast. So with that out of the way, I typically geek out mainly, and I'm mainly known for my collection of 80s toys, mainly action figures of the Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and G1 Transformers variety.
So
Nice.
Pretty much all kinds of the 80s realm is just everything 80s is
Our entire childhood is in this house.
pretty much. Yeah, you collect our
can't go
entire
wrong with that. Absolutely.
Yes, everything 80s, and the reason I keep everything to the 80s is because that's, I was born in 81, so obviously as a kid, all of those toys were really my drug of choice. So I don't typically collect anything for any kind of monetary value. I genuinely collect things strictly for the nostalgia factor. If I find something at a flea market, on eBay, online, or something like that, if it piques some type of childhood memory for me, then it's something that I want to own. That said, I do try to restrict what I bring home and put into my house because it could get out of control really quickly. So.
Now, do you have tons of different glass cases, all this stuff? Do you shelve it? Do you put it in a Tupperware, like a big bin? How do you store?
I'd say yes to everything that you just mentioned.
Okay.
As far as glass cases, I'm up to 6 now.
6.
I just obtained my my 6th glass display case.
You're welcome.
Thank you to the gentleman to my left.
To Obi-Wan?
In addition to that, I do have what I call a hoard stash in closets, which are in Tupperware, bins, cardboard boxes, things like that. Aside from the stuff that I collect, display, and enjoy so much, I also I like to trade with other collectors online, and we'll probably talk a little bit later about how I do that. But suffice it to say that I have a large stash of trade items, and that's typically how I get new things from my current collection, rather than just troll eBay all day long.
Yeah, it can get frustrating sometimes.
Inexpensive.
Inexpensive, yeah.
Yes, it can.
So that's your pretty much your realm of expertise as far as geekdom goes. So now Obi-Wan,
Yes.
from your side, background about yourself, and I'm assuming with the name of Obi-Wan, we can kind of and awesome, by the way, awesome hat. Gotta put that out there,
Thank
and
you.
even the shirt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I didn't even notice your shirt either, which we'll talk about because I have a specific question for you. We're rocking some awesome shirts,
Yeah.
but please tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're into.
Name's Obi-Wan. Obviously, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've been a fan since '77 when it came out. That was the first movie I got to see in the theater. I haven't looked back. I mean, picture your 7-year-old self in the theater when Star Wars first.
So
came
that
out.
was literally your first movie.
My very first
wow.
movie in the
So
theater.
that's a lasting
You know,
impression.
that the words are going across the screen, and here comes the Star Destroyer. I mean, that was it. I was done.
Why isn't every movie like this?
Yeah, yeah, right. I was like, the cartoons aren't like this at home. It was just fantastic. I haven't looked back. Ever since then, I've been collecting action figures. Star Wars was huge. I still have all of my Star Wars figures from when I was a kid, and I took very good care of them. So most of them are in really, really good shape. Now I collect mostly 1/6 scale action figures, and I do have glass cases.
Several of them.
Several glass cases. I'm rapidly running out of room. I would love to build an addition, but I think my wife would really have a problem.
Yeah, I
with
think
that.
Star Wars collecting is a whole other level of obsession because there's so much compared to anything else.
Yeah, well, when Kenner did it, it wasn't quite as bad as when Hasbro took over. And how many Darth Vader figures can you really have? You know what I mean? It's
Infinite.
I was going to say the answer is you should have them all.
Yeah.
But that was a trick question. But I mean, seriously, I mean it really got to be too much. I was collecting those for a long time. Now they're just sitting in in bins. I'm to a fate that I haven't determined yet.
So do you still look for some of the newer stuff though too?
Yeah, I try to stick with most of the more adult stuff,
Yeah.
Like the Black Series.
Yep, the
like
Black Series are great,
helmets, the effects lightsabers.
And you see in they have the diecast ones now, the diecast figures.
God,
They're amazing.
They really are really cool. I saw a couple of those at the Disney store, and I was like, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I just can't because then
You pick it up and you're like, wow, this thing is.
Yeah, I was like, this is solid. This is heavy. And they're so cool.
I just hope
but
they
I
make
just
Marvel
can't.
ones soon.
It's only a matter of it's all the
That-
same-
That'd be
I was
kind
gonna-
of
it's all the
insane.
same company,
Yeah.
so I don't see why they wouldn't.
So I have to ask both you guys.
Yeah.
I have specific questions for both of you, and you guys are both into retro cartoons, television shows, stuff. What was your favorite cartoon or show in your younger years? And do you have anything specific now that you're really into?
Good, Jared.
For anyone who knows me, they already know the answer to this. But growing up, my favorite cartoon was Masters of the Universe. It was one of those shows that you really couldn't get enough of. I mean, they made 1 million episodes. They were in syndication for years, and I was born in '81, so. If you do the math, by the time that cartoon came out, I don't even think I was old enough to feed myself, but I can remember specifically watching most of those episodes, whether it was from the first run or in syndication. So that cartoon, in addition to the toys, was definitely something that had a huge impact on my childhood and my adulthood.
You have a stinkor.
That's one.
He has
KB,
several
if you look
stickers.
at my call sheet here, so we'll go right into that. Okay, what is the best Masters of the Universe figure or character, and what is the worst in your opinion?
Okay, so I'm going to scope my answer to the American variants of the Masters of the Universe.
Well, we're getting into the minutia right now.
Exactly.
We're getting into the weeds.
I
This is
didn't.
the professional toy collector.
Yeah.
I didn't want to embarrass any of my family and friends out there by spilling nerdness all over this table, but
They're all watching
Go
this
for
right
it.
now. It's fine.
Just go
That's
for
what
it.
this
Yeah,
is
that's
for.
what this is for.
I do own all of the characters, all of the toys. In fact, I own most of them in multiple country variants. Stinkor, as a matter of fact, is one of my favorite country variants, the France version, because he doesn't typically smell like. Is this too much?
He
like
smell-
Pepe-
no.
it's like Pepe
Are you
Le Pew?
are you gonna alienate any French people by saying he smells like?
No.
You got to be careful, man. You got to be a little PC.
No.
No, you can go as far as you want.
As far as
This
you
is a
want.
show about geekdom and nerdom.
Okay.
As long as we don't
Nerdom.
pick on
Fantastic.
anybody.
Yeah, as long as we're not
Fantastic.
picking on anybody or making fun of anybody,
Absolutely.
go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any French? I have an affinity for the French variant figures, and Stinkor happens to be one of my favorite variants. That said, if we're going to talk about the normal run of those toys, which are the ones that everybody here remembers, I will say Mantenna, who
Okay.
was one of the Horde henchmen, is probably my least favorite. Not only character on the cartoon, but also the toy. The toy's horrendous. The character itself in the comics and the cartoon had 4 legs. The figure doesn't. He basically has 4 legs, but they're mashed into 2. He has these bulging eyes that always broke. The paint applications on them were terrible. You couldn't play with him in the bathtub without the eye paint rubbing off, and the thing was
It was
ruined.
lead paint anyway.
So
it's okay.
as far as a toy is concerned, he's probably my least favorite figure. He really does nothing for me. On the flip side of that, my favorite figure of all time is going to be Web Store. So for those of you who are not familiar with that particular character or that toy, he's an arachnid-esque bipedal figure, I guess, is the best way I can describe him for somebody who doesn't have a visual. But what was really cool about that toy was the play value. He came with a grappling hook that was connected to his backpack. And so you can only imagine, the possibilities were really
As a
endless.
child,
As a child, I mean, it went from, he could scale Castle Grayskull to, the dining room chairs to, my father's stereo cabinet, the whole thing. It was just
Awesome.
Play value wise, indoors or outdoors, that figure hands down for me is one of the coolest.
That's awesome. And I was going to say, going back to that French stinkor, do you think it was intended to be French because it's like le stinkor, or like Pepe Le Pew?
Pepe Le Pew.
No,
There you go.
The secret ingredient to that figure is actually scented, and even to this day they still smell. But they were all scented mainly with patchouli.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather smell skunk.
As would
Okay,
I.
well, we're going to go from Masters of the Universe to Star Wars. Obi-Wan.
Yes.
First of all, I'm getting a question here.
Yes.
Legal name?
Oh, Chris Benjamin.
Well, I was going to say, see, now you ruined it.
No,
You
it's-
pulled
it's
back the
fine.
curtain.
Oh, I'm wicked sorry.
No, his legal name is Obi-Wan. On
occasion,
he changed it legally. His middle name is Obi-Wan.
my middle name is
Right.
Obi-Wan. It
So,
is.
that was a bit we were trying to do. But yeah.
I'm wicked sorry.
No, it's okay. Going back, your favorite cartoon television show as a child, and then
My favorite cartoon as a kid was by far it was Star Blazers. 1970s anime was just an absolutely fantastic show, and so frustrating as a child because toys were not available in this country until I believe it was like 1981, early 82. Mr. Big's Toyland on Moody Street in Waltham. You know why I still remember that address? Because it was the only place that sold those toys, and I couldn't get there. See?
it's like a holy grail.
Oh, it was unbelievable. But that show was I own them on DVD now. I still watch it. It's still a great show. But and now my favorite show now would have to be Gotham.
Okay, so we Gotham was one of our. Did you listen to our show about Gotham? If not, go back on and we have it on Podbean. We'll kick to that a little bit later, but it was really good. We ranked our favorite
Yes.
Gotham characters. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we're gonna make a call here in a second because we're talking about Comic-Con, but I want to mention, and I should have mentioned this at the top of the show. Do either of you guys like video games? You play video games?
I haven't played religiously in quite a while, but yeah, I like.
Okay, are you a PlayStation person, Xbox person?
I like Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great segue. So we have three sponsors today. So first we have Phoenix Marketing, and Phoenix Marketing is taking part together with 59 Media here and Pachico's Furniture and Unique Customs. They're all going to be chipping in and buying an Xbox One, and they'll be drawing it on the
Xbox
whatever.
One S.
Okay, so even better. See, KB knows about this stuff a little bit more than I am. I'm a PlayStation dude. But they're chipping in. They're going to be buying an Xbox One. So you share any of the podcasts. You share this video. You share Wise Ass. You share whatever, bro. You share On Your Left. You'll be able to be entered. Your name will be put in, and the drawing will be held on the Whatever Bro podcast prior to Christmas, the week before Christmas. And the one lucky winner who's chosen at random, whoever shares these videos, will get a free Xbox One
S.
courtesy of Pachico's Furniture, Unique Customs, Phoenix Marketing, and 59 Media. And speaking of Phoenix Marketing, they also have multiple positions open. So if you are interested in a direct sales associate position at Phoenix Marketing, give them a call. You're going to see their number on the screen here popping up momentarily, but it's 774-309-3038. And that's for any position at Phoenix Marketing for a direct sales associate. But that's not all. Have you guys heard of a Cody box?
I have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
yeah.
Pachico's Furniture, another one of our sponsors, is giving away a free Cody box. So again, you share this video, you share this podcast either now live or once it gets wrapped up at the end of the show. You have until Monday, and I don't even know what the date is. What is that, the 5th? I think it's Monday the 5th.
It is.
On the Wise Ass podcast, they'll draw a name and you'll win a free Cody box. You can stream content to your TV, apps, games, live TV shows, sports, streaming services such as Netflix and Hulu, all of it free, given to you by Pachico's Furniture. So check that out. So all the sponsors are out of the way. We want to talk a little bit about Rhode Island Comic Con.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? We are going to do, on the final countdown, the top three people we want to see at Rhode Island Comic Con potentially next year. And while you guys, I want you guys to talk a little bit about that. What did you like? What were some of the celebrities or vendors or anything else that you specifically liked about Rhode Island Comic Con? While I'm going to try to call up a cosplayer at this time. And because if you check out our Facebook page, he posed with KB and he was Spider-Man. And he wants to be on the show. So we're going to talk about that a little bit too.
All right. Good, Jared.
Okay. Well, I view these Comic-Con conventions, among others, as not only a great place to nerd out, geek out, what have you, but also I enjoy the camaraderie of it.
It's a place of peace.
It really is. It really is.
It really is.
It really is.
It's every year that I go, I usually come home and I tell my wife that I had just a great day, great day out with the guys. And you're right. It's a place of peace. You can kind of be a nerd. Now, that said, I typically don't do the cosplay thing, but I have a great respect for the people that do. Mainly because you see all of the time and the effort that they put into those costumes. I mean, some of them are just unbelievable. Oh, yeah. Aside from that, I typically don't really go to see specific celebrities or get autographs and things like that. Although I do like standing in line with my friends
thank you for that.
So you're a moral support guy.
I'm a moral support guy, and it's pretty cool. I think last year. Obi, to my left here, got to meet Henry Winkler. I got to take the picture, and I myself also got to meet Henry Winkler.
Important question:
awesome.
Did you tell him to sit on it?
I didn't. I didn't.
That's for those young folks. That's a phrase that the Fonz would say on a TV show called Happy Days. But Henry Winkler is amazing.
The Fonz might be a separate show altogether.
Yeah, we might have to do it and that's and I don't want to make anybody feel old because that's even before our time. Yeah, but it's still again syndication.
Not my time, but that's okay.
Yeah, whose time? So aside from that, again, I typically don't go specifically to see celebrities or get autographs. I simply like being surrounded by the pop culture aspect of it. Obviously, I would consider myself a toy hunter. So I'm interested in a lot of the toy vendors to see what they have. I'm generally not looking for anything mint in package or boxed or anything like that. I'm one of those guys that likes to dig into the dollar bins and just pull out.
See what gem you can find.
And it never fails.
Always finds them.
Always find them, and it's fantastic. That's my favorite part.
That's the part of the day that gives you the rush.
It is, and it's one of those things where sometimes I have to apologize to the people that I'm with because I say, listen, I'm going to be here for a while, so you may as well just kind of take a couple of laps.
Yeah, we usually just meet up later on.
And that's it. So, but I guess to sum that up really quick, it's one of those days where we all live such structured lives. Yep. You're on a time schedule all the time. You always have to be somewhere and do something, and it's just one of those days where we stand in line for an hour, and I don't mind. By the time the doors open, we just walk around aimlessly, it seems like, for hours and hours, get some lunch in between, shake hands, run into our friends, talk about podcasts, talk about comic books, whatever. And it's just a fantastic day. Usually it's just stress-free, and it can't be beat. Yeah,
because even standing in line is stress-free.
It really is.
It really is.
It's a great.
You got the cosplayers to keep you company.
Yeah, that's right.
You're surrounded by people of like mind.
Somebody walks by and like, ooh, what are they dressed up as? Or their costume's amazing. Or since you're always entertained.
Well, even the bad costumes are still great.
Yeah.
Because they took the time to put that on and go to the show.
Yeah.
It's just it's awesome. It's awesome.
What about for you?
Well, I'm like Jared. I don't go for the celebrities.
Yep.
That's a bonus for me. I love the vendors. This year, I didn't find there was as many vendors, but the
I had that
vendors
same feeling.
that they had were pretty good.
Yeah.
Last year it just seemed like they had almost double it. It just feels that way.
I felt like there weren't a lot of comic book vendors.
Right.
Which was
odd. I think
last
saw
year there were more.
There were like two. I saw.
That were major.
Like
full on.
Yeah, like they had like bins to go through. I mean, some of them had a couple, but
a lot of toys. A lot of toy vendors.
There were a lot of toys, and most of the toy vendors, it was like the same stuff.
Yeah.
So that was my really only disappointment, but it still wasn't a disappointment. You know what I mean? But yeah, the guest list this year was unbelievable.
Yeah, we were talking about that. It was one of the probably the best guest lineups that they had, even with the cancellations that they had. Remember, they had some big names. That
And we'll get into that, but I want to go back to cosplay. So I may or may not. We're going to try to call this gentleman Eddie. I hope he gave me his right number, and if he did, I hope he picks up. But we're gonna try to give him a call and see what's going on. See if we can talk to him a little bit about Comic-Con.
Oh, it's ringing.
That's a good sign.
I feel like I'm gonna get a voicemail here in a second. Well, he'll have my number.
Yeah,
The suspense is killing me.
Yeah,
he could be out saving people.
he could
Your
be.
call has been forwarded to an automated voice
Daily
message.
There it is.
All right. Well, we tried. We were conversing via Facebook Messenger, and I told him between 7 and 7:15. It was 7:16. Maybe he had to take off.
right.
I'm gonna leave the phone on in case he calls back, though.
We're not going to leave a message?
No.
Okay.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Man.
If he calls me back, we'll pick up. But
Okay.
getting
All right.
back to the celebrity part. Well, let's get into that.
Yeah, the guest list was unreal this year. There was something for everybody this
Yeah.
year.
It's Stan Lee's last appearance.
Yeah.
And they had some major cancellations, and they still had a great. Because
Absolutely.
Kate Beckinsale was a major one.
As soon as they
and,
announced her, I just had a feeling she wasn't going to show.
yeah, those one-day ones are tough, and she's an A-lister.
Actually,
so.
I would have lost money because I thought Gal Gadot would have canceled.
yeah.
Really?
I just because she's so big right now. I just really thought she wasn't going to be there.
So for those that didn't attend, it was held in two separate buildings. It was held in the Dunkin' Donuts Center and the Province Convention Center.
Yeah.
And the Dunks Center, the center where all the ice would be, essentially was filled with people waiting for Stan Lee, Gal Gadot, and Christian Slater, and the
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, so all the big headliners they put in the Dunks, and that place was a sea of people. It was crazy.
It was. It
Now-
looked like organized chaos.
Yeah.
The way they had it.
Yeah,
set up.
they had everybody kind of like.
I
snooped.
have to give them kudos though, because I felt like it was organized so much better than last year.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I remember last year getting tied up in some areas
Oh, yeah.
and not being able to move, and I didn't really feel that this time. The going outside to get to the other building
Yeah.
was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah, it definitely made a
that
difference.
previous year you had
Yep.
that corridor in between, and it was two ways, and
It was.
people were just.
I mean, for the first
Kudos
half of
to
the
them.
show, it was
They did good.
that corridor was really tough to get through.
Yep.
I mean, towards the end of the day, there wasn't as much foot
Yeah.
traffic. You could do it, but I mean, they had to do something
Yeah.
about that. It wasn't safe. But
Yeah. And then putting all the big celebrities in that one section really
yeah.
helps a lot, because then the photo ops are right there, and
Yeah.
people can. So I really like the way that
this
they
was
did it
actually
this
my
year.
first year using the photo op.
Yeah.
For Stan Lee.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
So who did you?
Well,
Was-
for the photo op for the big names, I did Stan Lee because I mean,
Yeah.
how could you not? You
Yeah.
know? I'd never met him before. It was going to be my last chance, really, to meet him.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were out of line, and the
Yep.
picture came out in like 2 minutes. And
Yeah.
it's a great picture, you know. So, but yeah, other than that, who was it? Robin Lord Taylor
Yes, Robin Lord Taylor.
was so cool.
He was, because my wife and I met him. He's like the nicest, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
He had that attitude like he couldn't believe anybody was there to see him.
Yeah. It's like, thank you so much
I'm like,
for
you're-
like
you're-
being
you're
a
the
fan.
mayor. You shouldn't be
He's
doing
like,
this.
thank you for being my
right.
fan, and he's just a sweet,
Such a nice
sweet guy, and he's like, bring it in, hug.
Yep.
You know,
kidding.
my wife is from Ecuador. Her native language is Spanish. She started talking to her in Spanish.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, oh, this guy is just.
He was
And
just
it's,
really cool.
it's so funny because my wife just moved here a few months ago, and I just got her into Gotham.
Nice.
So now she's one of those sensitive people to violence. So anytime she sees him getting hurt on TV on the show now, she's like, "Oh my god, I know him. I can't watch this." So it's kind of fun. The celebrities, I really liked. They took a lot of time this year.
Yeah.
Every celebrity I saw took like 5 to 10 minutes to not just here's a picture, here's an
Right.
autograph. Great conversations with some great people.
Yeah, Sean Pertwee was like that.
Yep.
Yeah, he took a couple minutes to talk and
Yep.
whatnot. It was
Yeah.
just a great show.
I big fan of Sons of Anarchy. So I usually talk to one of those people every year, one of those cast members. And this year I talked to Kim Coates and Mark Boone Jr.
yeah, I saw the pictures online of you guys.
And Kim Coates, it was a lot like Robin Lord Taylor, just the nicest guy. And it's funny, those two guys remind me of their characters. If you guys see those shows,
Yeah.
they remind me of their characters from the shows. Their personalities in real life are pretty close.
That's awesome.
And my wife, we were tired at the end of the day, and she sat down on the floor. So I was talking to him, like, where'd my wife go? My wife's like 5 feet tall. He goes, oh, she's sitting down over there, and he helps her up.
Nice.
And everything. I'm like, what a nice guy. Like,
You're making me look bad though. So,
Jeez, yeah.
so then that was Friday. Sunday, we met Mark Boone Jr., realest dude you'll ever meet.
really,
I talked to him for a while because he was in Batman Begins,
Right.
too. But talked to him, and I asked him. I said, so what do you think of all this? And he's like, world's too fucking big, man. Like, he was just so real with what he was saying.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
that's what I like.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just, oh, I'm flattered. He was really talking to me about shit. I was like, so are you into all this? He's like, I honestly don't understand
Right.
a lot of this.
Yeah.
He's like, because me growing up, he's like, you know, the most I ever did was write sci-fi, which I didn't know he wrote sci-fi.
I didn't either.
Yeah, you know. So that, and then talking to him about, you know, some of the other cast members and stuff. And I said, I met Kim Coates the other day. I said, he helped my wife up off the floor. He goes, that fucking guy, anything to put his hands on a woman. I was just like, you know, these guys are just, they were real.
That's awesome.
And that's an experience.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And they were just so cool. I thought it was a great show. Jeffrey, what about your thoughts, man?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I was there in more of a promotional phase because I was trying to get more listeners on the podcast. Now that we're live on Facebook Live, I was trying
Mission
to get
accomplished.
more
Yeah.
people to get to. Yeah, I mean, you know, people like the shirts; they want to buy them. I need to find a way to mass produce them and go through a different vendor because I was going through my primary vendor, which I do all my business cards for. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but they get expensive. It comes out to like something like $20-something a shirt, and I'm like, I can't mass produce at that,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna have to find something a little bit
Yeah.
cheaper. But yeah, as far as you know, I'm kind of like you've heard of like the terminology a jack of all trades. I'm kind of a geek of all trades. So
Same here.
I had like the wrestling folks there that I grew up with,
Yep.
and I loved that. And we had an interview. We love the AMC
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
Walking
forget
Dead.
about that.
We have an interview with Ming Chen from Comic Book Men.
Really?
We
Saw that,
had a
yeah.
little bit of that, which was kind of fun. I did not get a chance to see Stan Lee. I don't know if I'm claustrophobic or what the word is, but just even like you and your wife were walking around. I was walking around with KB, and I was like, dude,
Yeah, you had to step away
I need
for a
to
minute.
step away because there's like
Sure.
way too many people, which is weird because it's like my element. It's,
that was us trying to
well-
see Robin Lord Taylor. He was so busy
Yeah.
on I think it was Saturday that it was just like he should have been somewhere else. They had him in a place where I didn't think they thought he was gonna maybe have the lines
He
that
should
he
have
did.
been a little bit more in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he got claustrophobic. My wife does too sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
tough.
the word. It's not claustrophobic, but just when there's too many people, I forget
Yeah.
what the terminology is. I just
Comfort zone is
yeah,
kind of
like personal bubble.
Well,
like
that and
personal space.
Everybody's moving around so fast.
Yeah.
I'm not big. On that.
I gave people a lot of people there the stink eye unintentionally, but it's just
Yeah.
like, dude, don't walk in front of me, man. But it is what it is. It's fine. It's like you
Yeah.
gotta understand that. Yeah, I met a couple. I don't know. Do either of you guys watch any of the CW, Flash, Green Arrow, any of that, or do you kind of keep away from that?
It's funny you say that because I watched the first few episodes of season 1 of Flash.
Yeah.
And just couldn't get into it.
Okay.
But I've been listening to a lot of your shows over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So now you guys have been talking it up pretty good. So
Oh, yeah.
So he got me in the Flash.
Right.
I was
So-
like
okay.
you before I
So
was on the
it's-
show.
So I've now given it. I've given it a second go, and now I'm kind of digging.
Okay.
Flash.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
I'm really digging.
but
it.
you know nothing with Arrow or Legends of Tomorrow, anything like that.
Legends of Tomorrow, no, but I've been watching that crossover invasion.
Yeah,
thing.
this crossover
So-
series
Yeah,
has been cool.
and
Well,
that's pretty cool.
My
So-
thing is the coolest person I met there
Yep.
was the season 1 villain from Legends of Tomorrow. He appeared on Arrow, and I don't know if he appeared on Flash, but Vandal Savage, the guy that played Vandal Savage, Casper Crump, coolest friggin' dude
Really?
I've ever met. Like just so like down to earth. Like you know how and I mean granted he's not like an A-list celebrity per se. Like he's not like
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee or like Jeffrey Dean Morgan or what. But the fact is, a lot of these celebrities, and this is not a knock on them because I understand it's a business. You go in, you shake their hand. Hi, how are you? Who is this out to? They you sign your name to Jeff or to Jeffrey, whatever. Okay, thanks. Nice meeting you. This dude took like a good 10 to 15 minutes just to
That's-
talk to me. And his line, and everybody, like not just me, like everyone, and he's just goofing around and kind of just like broing out a little bit. And I forget where he's from, but he's, obviously he's not from this country. But he was talking about there was a girl in front of me. She was cosplaying as the comic version of the Black Canary, and
That's an awesome.
she was like, she goes, "Can you choke me in the picture?" Because he's a bad guy. He looks directly at me because I'm next in line, and he goes,
Wow.
"What is it with all these American girls wanting me to choke them?" Like it was just like it was one of the just like he was just like so candid. And then they have like little Post-it notes where they sign, okay, Jeff's gonna get the combo. He's gonna get a signed 8x10 and a selfie or whatever. So the handler wrote Jeff Silver Pen combination. So he goes up to me. He's like, "What's your name?" "Oh, Jeff Silver Combo." That's a weird name, right? And he's just he's like, "I'm going to call you Jeff Silvercum." He goes, "The ladies are going to love that." And I'm just like, this dude is just so cool. Like he was just chill and he was fun and, goofing around with him. And I said, I'm kind of, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the first season of Legends of Tomorrow, so you guys might want to cover your ears if you're planning to watch it. But they kill him at the end of the first season. I said, "Oh, it sucks that I'm not going to see you again." He goes, "Trust me though, nobody necessarily stays dead in the DC universe."
Or
so
any comic universe.
right.
Yeah, right.
Well, especially in that show, it's a time travel.
Right, it's a time travel show, so they could go back to a previous. But I thoroughly enjoyed meeting him. He was so cool, so down to earth. So that was my favorite encounter. But yeah, I thought it was really, really good. The headliners were amazing. It made a boatload of money for the city. Everybody else got their cut too. I think it was better organized than last year.
Every year they do a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's a learning experience. They've only been doing it for like a handful of years.
Yeah, was it like 5 years?
I think it's the
5
fifth or
years.
sixth year. So it's a learning curve. It's not like San Diego, which has been doing it.
And
forever.
I've been hearing people that have gone to like some of the big city cons that they actually like this one better
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah,
the amount of celebrities and the lesser traffic and
It's more of an
easier.
intimate environment though.
Yeah.
It's not like these huge, and I didn't get a chance to check out any of the panels or anything, but
That was actually I was going to mention that.
Go for it.
This year was actually the first year that, well, for me anyway. I don't know about you, but this was the first
was
year
the
that
second panel I'd seen.
that I actually attended a panel. It was the Q&A session with Millie Bobby Brown.
Yep.
was
Who is
fantastic.
unbelievable.
Oh my God.
I mean, obviously, not to get off on a tangent here, but Stranger Things is probably the best show that I've seen in the past couple of years.
Agreed.
My wife loved it, and it was an excuse to watch it a second time. So it just an unbelievable show. So when I saw that she was going to be there, I wanted to definitely see the Q&A panel. And I mean, she was up there singing, dancing. She was,
She was
doing.
funny.
She was awesome.
She was entertaining.
She really was. Some
for-
kid proposed to her.
Some kid proposed to her, and she
kept it
took
right.
that. She took that
she?
with such class. You know what I mean? Like for a kid her age.
Yeah.
I mean, she's. I don't know exactly how old she is. I apologize, people out there, but I want to say she's 13, maybe 12. I don't even know.
Hopefully, the guy that proposed to her was a kid.
He was
that
like 7
13.
or 8 years old.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
that's fine.
But-
I'm thinking it's like a 47-year-old dude.
Put it this way.
No, I
it
was
was
sitting way in the back.
Oh,
no. Yeah.
That was
Put it
good.
this way: it was
That
one of
good.
those situations where you would expect both parties to just, giggle fit a little bit and then kind of go away. But once he said, "Will you marry me? I have a ring," she took that and ran with it, man, and she made it her own. She
That's awesome.
She handled it very well, and you can tell that she's a grown up in a kid's body, and she was awesome. And it was we sat through the whole thing. I think it was like 45 minutes, and
That was in part because we wanted to get off our feet too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the other
That's-
strategy
that's-
behind
that's a
that
good-
too. Yeah.
No, that's a
Long
good
day.
idea.
It's a long day.
We're
Yeah,
gonna have
it's
to
a
find a
very
panel
long day.
next year.
Because that
Yeah.
panel was what, 4 o'clock, 4:30.
It was, and then we rushed right over to a second panel, and we.
And we were there, what, 38 seconds?
It was the basics to podcasting, and we sat down for about 47
Because
seconds.
you guys want to know, you guys know you were going to come on here, so
Right,
you're like,
right.
we should take everything that
Exactly.
and then you realize you don't really need to know anything.
Right.
You just put the microphones, you put the camera, you just
The whole
bullshit
panel
for a
was
little
and
while.
that,
40
we
seconds.
determined that in the first minute, and then
Yeah.
we got up and
Yeah.
left. So
Yeah,
we
it
said
was-
we're
it was
obviously in
awful.
the wrong place. But
Very cool.
But aside from that, it was the Q&A panel for that was awesome.
It really was.
Yep.
Very cool, very cool. So yeah, if you were going to give it a grade before we go to break, let's do it 1 through 10, 10 being the best. How much did you enjoy Rhode Island Comic Con this year?
I will give it. I'll say a 9. I'll even go as far as giving it a 9.
Yeah, I'd solid 9. Absolutely.
Yeah, 9.
So 3 9s, and I'm not going to bring it down. So you know what? I'll say just because it's my show, I'm going to say 9.5. What's up?
Wow.
What's up?
I didn't know we
I
could do half.
I thought
Yeah,
no,
I
but
didn't know. I
honestly,
don't wanna
like
get
to go back to your all
fractions and
points,
decimals
like
and
I
things
think
like
the panels were good. The celebrities they had were good.
Organization was
the
great.
organization was a
Organization
lot
was
a
really
lot
good.
better
Better.
than last year.
Even the lines outside to get in
Yeah.
was so much better.
The
Yep.
tickets were cool too.
Yes.
Last year they
They-
just kind of had the
yeah.
plain green kind of things going on. Yeah, did a lot.
Very cool, very cool. So we're gonna just take a quick break. We're gonna just play our ad for one of our sponsors, Pachico's Furniture. We'll be back in about a minute and a half. And for those of you that used to watch Saturday morning cartoons, you might get a little kick.
I love this.
You love this?
I do.
Okay, you might get a little kick out of this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Are you ready to upgrade your office space or living area for an affordable price? Stop by Pachico's Furniture, where you can expect a delightful shopping experience, all while saving you some of your hard-earned money. Pachico's Furniture specializes in used furniture, antiques, jewelry, electronics, video games, Blu-ray, DVD, musical instruments, and much, much more. Whether buying or selling, we strive on being Fall River's finest secondhand store. Pachico's Furniture is a family-owned and operated business located on 663 Bedford Street, formerly Billy's Cafe, in Fall River, Massachusetts. Come on by, you'll be pleasantly surprised.
And welcome back to Free Your Geek. That was our sponsor, Pachico's Furniture. And as mentioned at the top of the show, Pachico's Furniture is giving away a free Cody box to anyone that shares this video, either now live or later on. You have until Monday afternoon on the Wise Ass podcast. Anyone that shares this or any of 59 Media's videos or live streaming from their podcast will be entered to win a free Cody box courtesy of Pachico's Furniture. But Pachico's is also combining their forces with Unique Customs, Phoenix Marketing, and 59 Media. They're all going to chip in and purchase an Xbox One.
S.
Thank you. That's going to be our new bit now. Xbox One.
S.
Perfect. One more time. Xbox One.
S.
Okay, they're going to be purchasing an Xbox One S. And whoever shares any of the podcasts on all the podcasts under the 59 Media umbrella are going to be entered to win, and the drawing is going to be held on the Whatever Bro podcast. The what day do they do it? They do it Tuesday. I'm the sound guy for that. I should know. The Tuesday before Christmas. So they'll be pulling that winner, and one lucky person, whoever shares any video from now until then, will be entered to win an Xbox One.
S.
Yes, I love it. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So now back with our guests. We have Jared and Obi-Wan. We had some other questions that I wanted to talk about. Sure. And did we talk about, and I might have missed it, the best and worst Star Wars characters? Do we discuss that?
We did not speak
Oh,
about
let's,
Yeah, I think
so
we-
let's start with Obi-Wan there,
we
and then
brought
we'll
Obi-Wan
go
up.
Okay.
throw a question to the two of you guys.
Pack a lunch, people.
All right, let's just say 50,000 foot view. Let's make a minute apiece for the best and a minute for the best, minute for the worst.
All right. Well, the best. Obviously, I have to go with Obi-Wan Kenobi. I've always been a huge fan of the mentor or the sage kind of character in any kind of archetype. So yeah, he was my favorite. Still is, obviously. R2D2's second. Big hero, small package.
We didn't ask who your second.
I'm just saying I had to do it.
Yeah, I got
had
you.
to. Worst. Everybody's going to say Jar Jar Binks. So
let's find other than Jar Jar, because
Yeah.
that's kind of
It's a given.
So
Kinda.
yeah,
Yeah.
so and I've caught a lot of flack for this, but it's a tie between Anakin and Luke.
Okay, Anakin, I can see. Are you
yeah,
talking
Anakin,
like
I
young
get.
Anakin and Hayden Christensen Anakin?
Hayden
Yeah,
Christensen.
Okay.
I get that.
Yeah, and Luke, just the whininess. It just, I mean, he by Return of the Jedi, Luke I was okay with.
He
him.
evened out, but
Yeah.
but you're talking about like a new
like
hope.
a New Hope. And,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but Anakin, yeah, no, terrible.
Now, do we blame that on the writing, or do we blame that on the acting, or a combination of the two?
I actually blame that on the writing, the directing, and the acting.
Oh, so it's a holy trinity.
Yeah, Mannequin Skywalker.
They mannequin. I'm assuming you didn't make that up.
It's like they
I
designed them for a purpose and they missed.
Yeah, they missed.
Kind of like Anakin in the episode 1. You kind of designed him to be a whiny little kid, but it kind of
Right.
misses. It doesn't hit.
Yeah, he wasn't quite as whiny in episode 1. He was more of a kind of a punk.
Yeah.
I mean, he's punking off Yoda. It's like, what's that got to do with anything? Whoa, settle down, kid. Pump the brakes. You're in my temple. But no. And I actually got to meet Jake Lloyd at one of the Star Wars conventions in Los Angeles. He was a great kid before he fell on hard times, I guess. But I mean, that was a treat because I hadn't anticipated meeting him, but there was nobody in his line.
Yeah.
So hey,
That's always a cool. Like, hey,
Yeah.
it's an experience.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, a question for the two of you guys. We talked about you both collect. You're both into retro cartoons, and action figures and whatnot. What is the one either collectible, comic book, any type of collectible that you don't currently have that you really, really want? Because maybe we have a viewer that's got some disposable cash and says, hey, you know what? These guys are pretty cool. We might gift them something.
Well, if that's the case,
wouldn't that be nice?
if anyone out there has an extra Eternia playset that they want to send my way, please feel free to drop it off here at the studio, and I'll pick it up anytime.
Call the toll-free number at the bottom of your screen.
So
That's Unique Customs and Phoenix Marketing. We don't want to do that. You want to call them for other things though, because
Absolutely, yes.
Unique Customs, awesome company doing like any type of computer work, giving away Cody boxes as well, selling Cody boxes, and Phoenix Marketing. If you're looking for a director of sales associate position, you'll see their number on the screen as well. So I just want to give them one more plug, but thank you guys for sponsoring the show. So sorry, go ahead. Eternia playset, and if Phoenix Marketing or Unique Customs happens to find one, get in touch with me, and I'll call Jared up, and we'll see if we can haggle for a price.
right, but do it quickly, please, please. No, that's one of those play sets that came out at the end of the Masters of the Universe line. Most collectors regale that as the holy grail of the... it's not really a difficult piece to find, but it's a very expensive play set to find in complete shape. And again, I don't care about having the box or anything like that. So again, if anybody out there happens to have one of these, complete or not, please let me know. But in all seriousness, that playset, aside from its rarity, it's massive. It's huge. So honestly, even if it was something that I did get lucky enough to get my hands on for a reasonable price, I don't know what I would do with it.
What room do you have to put it in?
What room do I have to put it in?
Yeah, like do you have room to put it?
So is it like
I-
G.I. Joe aircraft?
That's what I was thinking. Is it like
Okay.
Because that's extra huge.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about 7 feet long.
That's 7,
yeah.
So with the Eternia is about 3.5 feet
So it's
tall,
like
I'd
half of that,
say.
but still pretty-
But it's almost like 3 castles that get connected together with this, little tram unirail type of thing. So, but yes, I do have the space to display it. So again, if anyone out there happens
You'll
to
make the
have one,
space to display.
you can make a plea right to the camera if you want.
I have been. So
Okay,
I'm going,
good.
I'm going to both.
Yeah.
so.
Help the
give
kid out, please.
Yeah, please, just let me have what I want, please.
And Obi-Wan, how about yourself?
I would love to get my hands on a Sideshow Collectables 1/6 scale diorama of the Tanis map room from Indiana Jones. It is spectacular. It's really difficult. It breaks my heart because when it sold, it was like $200, and now it's selling for like $1,200. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
That sideshow stuff is an investment.
Oh, it really is. I have a lot of it,
Yeah.
but not the diorama stuff. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, every now and then I look at eBay just see if somebody's hard up for cash, selling it cheap. No.
Sideshow makes amazing product.
Oh, it's awesome.
I seen a new Ray action figure that they did.
Yep.
That's with the BB-8. It's like $400 or $500, but it looks amazing. Like it has every possible.
Yeah,
Attention to detail.
Yeah,
Yep.
their statues are great. I love them. But yeah, that would be it for me. That would be the one.
So quite a basic toy collecting question, because we've asked this before on previous shows.
Sure.
In the box or out of the box?
Well, I know Jared's answer to that. I think.
Out of the box for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I display all my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might be surprised to know the only items I actually have that are packaged are the Masters of the Universe vehicles and creatures, and I mainly have those because of the box art. Back then, they were truly works of art. I mean,
Yeah.
mainly Earl Norham, and there was a few other artists, but they literally painted portraits on canvas, and they were transferred to the box art, which is something you really don't see today. There were several toy lines that did that back in the 80s.
G.I. Joe.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
G.I. Joe was one of them. They were just truly works of art. But
The back of the Transformers boxes.
yes, those were
Yes.
awesome as
Yep.
well. I mean, the list goes on and on from that era. But in reality, for me, I don't really care about the condition or, again, as I said earlier, the monetary value really doesn't mean anything to me. And when I was a kid, although I can appreciate the art and the packages and things like that, as a kid, when I got these things for Christmas or for birthdays, I mean, I ripped them open right away, and I never looked back. So again, when I'm collecting my toys, action figures, whatever you want to call them,
You can call them toys.
I can call them toys.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're in good company.
You're allowed, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're allowed.
But no, when I'm collecting something, again, it has to spark some kind of memory or some kind of interest for me, and I'm really not interested in the value, and so I can't see paying a premium for something that's in the package. So, but having said that, I certainly appreciate collectors that do, because I understand how difficult it is to find things. For a reasonable price in reasonable condition that is still packaged. So,
do want to say, while we were discussing this, not that I wasn't paying attention, but Spider-Man hit me back.
Did he?
And said to give him a call back. So
yeah,
before we go into the final countdown, let's give Spidey a call real quick. And he's going to be going by the name of Eddie here. Let's see if second time's going to be the charm. I wish I could play the Jeopardy theme right now.
The Spider-Man theme would be cool.
Yeah.
Yo.
Hey, is this Eddie?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? You are live on the show right now. How are you?
I am. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. We were just talking about Comic-Con a little earlier about how awesome it was, the celebrities, the cosplaying, and you actually took a picture with my co-host, and we were talking a little bit on the website and on Facebook, and we just wanted to get you on the show and just tell us about your experience and why you like to cosplay, and an awesome Spider-Man, by the way.
Yeah, I was.
So you did the whole thing. You had some of your rogues as well. I saw there was Kraven the Hunter and a couple other guys. Are those buddies of yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Craven the Hunter is a friend of mine. Sabretooth is his older brother, and then also the Obi-Wan Kenobi is my drummer.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, we want to give a quick shout out. You have a band. You're a guitarist in a band. So why don't we plug that real quick? They have a Facebook page. Go ahead and plug away, sir.
The name of my band is Top Down. We're from PB Mass, and we have some shows in Alston, Mass, as well as Concord, New Hampshire, and also April, Mass, all over the place. We're going from north to south.
So, and what type of genre? I know we talked about this, but how would you describe the type of music that you play?
It's a hard rock band. It's like Van Halen, Kiss, Foo Fighters, stuff like that.
That's cool.
Very excellent. So Top Down on Facebook. So check them out. So what were your thoughts on Rhode Island Comic-Con?
Comic-Con was phenomenal. I originally went to Boston last year for the first time. It was past summer. I went as the wrestling Spider-Man because I didn't have a costume at the time, so I just made it really quickly. I just spray painted, like a black spider on a red sweatshirt.
Yeah.
I had blue sweatpants, and then I had red shoes. So I went as a wrestling Spider-Man. Amazing. One people loved it. But that was the first time I went to Comic-Con. Everybody loved that costume. I was like, wow, I need to get the Civil War costume. I'm actually going to give a shout-out, too, to where I got the costume from. It's RPC Studios, and they make, legit costumes for cheap. I got the Civil War costume there. It's the Underoos, it's called.
I love it. I love it. No, and that's fantastic. I wish I would have saw you because I would have shouted Underoos at you.
Yeah.
But
I forget your buddy's name, but he was pumped to see me when you're work with you.
KB's right here. He was very complimentary. He said that whole crew looked amazing, and he wanted to get a shot. And then just the fact that you reached out and you're like, hey, that's me on our Facebook page. You're like, we got to get you on the show.
Now, did you guys participate in the? Sorry.
Yeah.
Good.
Did you guys participate in the contests at all or no?
No, I was a little late. So, like I said, we're from Massachusetts, so we actually had to drive down. We stayed there the whole 3 days in Providence.
Oh, that must have been a blast.
You said you're Peabody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a drive. It's a bit of a drive.
Yeah, it's only about an hour or so, which isn't bad.
So I have to ask though. I got a question for you. So were you saying the first time you did a cosplay, it was Wrestler Spider-Man? That's the first time you dressed up.
Yeah.
And this your second one?
This is my second cosplay. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and so I'm assuming you enjoyed it the first time, and you got a lot of compliments. So and
oh my god, yeah! I was like, I need a better costume though. So I was like, I'm going all out next time. So I had to buy the Spider-Man. And honestly, being Spider-Man, it's just he's like my number one character. He's like my number one influence in life. Like you name it. Like everything he does, I love.
And what's the appeal? What's the appeal?
Oh, it's incredible. It was just like everybody wanted to take pictures with me. That's the best part about Comic-Con is taking pictures with characters that you also enjoy.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's the best thing ever.
And you know what? It's funny because Peter Parker is the quintessential nerd who he's like the everyman, like kind of a lot of people can relate to, and that's why Spider-Man I think appeals to a lot of different people as their favorite hero because he's not like overly powered like a Superman or has like tons of money like Batman or whatnot. He's just an everyday dude that holds on a 9 to 5.
Friendly. He's friendly.
Yeah, he's friendly, and that's why I'm calling you our friendly neighborhood cosplay Spider-Man. That's what I introduced you as.
Very nice.
So
it was the best thing too. Honestly, not to sound weird, but the best thing honestly is the kids. Like they get so excited to see Spider-Man, and it's like. They come up to you and like they think it's like the actual Spider-Man. And like I'm looking at the parents, it's like, are you sure this is okay for this kid to be hugging my leg? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
they do
like,
that.
It's okay. He's like, oh, do you want a picture? And like the person needed to be scared or like to be like ecstatic.
Any one of those
high five and be pumped.
Any one of those situations? Any one of those situations stand out to you? Is like one in particular that you can remember?
There was a kid I saw like a bunch of times. He would always show me these new things. You guys like, look what I got! Look what I got! I'm like, oh, that's awesome! And then like another one would be like, I remember another one. There's some like there's a kid. He goes, because I had like the full suit. He has like little like like the Party City kind of costume.
right.
So he goes, how come you have the shoes and I don't? I said,
Kids say the damnest thing.
I said, you gotta grow up and you gotta get experience, my friend. You become Spider-Man. You're Spider-Boy right now.
That's awesome.
He walked away a little bummed, but
that's cool though.
I will say that the best thing about the Rhode Island Comic-Con, my best moment was so Sabretooth and Kraven went to go meet another friend while me and my Obi-Wan stayed back. This is where like the exit was, like above the escalator there, like the south entrance. I think it was.
Yep.
So I met this Black Panther there. I don't know if you guys met the Black Panther.
Yeah,
I saw him on our way.
on the way
I
out.
didn't
That
see him.
costume was phenomenal.
Yeah,
It really was.
So I met him. He's like, "Can I get a picture with you?" I'm like, "Sure." I said, "Why not?" So like we got pictures, just me and him, and then like people saw us and they're like, "Oh, we get pictures with you?" And then like it literally grew and grew and grew, and it got almost like 20, 30 people.
That's
It
awesome.
was just like ridiculous. Like the pictures, there was so many people you couldn't fit them all in one picture. It was insane. And I was just like, it was amazing. Like I had a Batman. He was like, "Well, Pete, you got me here and I'm stuck here for the past hour. I need to go to the bathroom." He's like, "I'm going to leave now."
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So
amazing.
my next question to you is: so I'm assuming you're going to go to the next Comic-Con, whether it be Boston or Rhode Island or something in the area. What's next? Is it going to be another Spider-Man cosplay, or are we thinking we're going to switch it up?
I'm going to stay with the Underoos, to be honest with you. I do such a good job. Like, everybody says I do a great job as Spider-Man. I sound like him. I act like him. That's perfect. It's a perfect role for me, I think.
That's fantastic. No, that's awesome. And I you know what? I didn't even think about it from the other side when you were talking about like the children. Like just to like kind of make like a kid's day too. Like, yeah, the older nerds and geeks that are there, you know, like us, we'd be like, oh, that's a cool costume. That's sick and that's awesome. But to kind of like see it from the other side, like you're making somebody else's day, and that's going to be a good feeling too.
Or kind of crushing their dreams.
Well, he's giving the kid hope. He's like, work hard, kid, and this is what you can be one day.
Stay in school.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. So real quick, before we let you go, any other things you want to plug? Do you have like an Instagram or a Facebook, a Twitter, or you want to plug?
I do have an Instagram. It's Eddie Live 75. You can actually see all the pictures I was at Rhode Island. If you want to you're more than welcome to post them on your page.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
And it's Eddie Live, EDDIE LIVE 75, all one word. Or are there any underscores? Or?
All one word.
So
all
Eddie,
one word, all lowercase.
All lowercase. Okay. Eddie Live, EDDIE Live 75.
Yep.
Okay, I got the two guests that we have in the studio are already writing it down and looking to friend you right now. So you're gonna at least have 4 new followers by the end of the end of the night. So.
Mine's a private account, so I just gotta prove you guys.
Okay,
I'll call you guys back.
Perfect.
Cool. Excellent.
Well, if you see us walking around any other Comic Cons, Boston, Rhode Island, we'll have
When's your next Comic Con?
That's a great question. We're trying to branch out a little bit. I think we're gonna probably wait till Boston, but there's also a Megafest. Yeah, so
April.
in April. So
Where is that? Where's Megafest?
This year it's going to be in Marlboro. they moved it from, what was it, Framingham?
It used to be in Framingham. Now it's Marlboro.
It's gonna
So
be Marlboro.
it's
I might go to that because I've been like, I need to go again. Like, I love going to those.
It's a little bit more low key, and it's a little less celebrity, a little more vendor friendly.
Yeah, they put on a good
but
show.
it's still a great show, and it's a lot more. I think there's a lot of more horror like influences there too. It's more into horror films, but there's definitely certain. There's tons of cosplay over there. I went last year. My friend dressed up as X-23. It was awesome. Yeah, and everybody wanted to take a picture with her because she's a gorgeous girl, in skin tight leather or pleather. But it's,
of course.
So I told her we should make a business out of it. So I'm going to say the same thing to you. If you got people coming up to you, you might be able to start a little side business too. I mean, Spidey's got to make his money.
That's right.
The web fluid's not cheap, my man.
No.
But thank you again for being on the show, and we'll have you on again, man. Again, check out Facebook page What is this? Top down?
Top down.
Top down.
I want to make sure I didn't write that down. I got to write down top down.
Like a hot rod, like a convertible flying on the highway.
And it's some classic heavy rock music. So and they're all over Mass, and like you said, New Hampshire and whatnot. So check them out. Find them on Facebook. Add them on Instagram. Eddie Live 75 EDDIE Live 75 on Instagram. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Spidey, for being on Free Your Geek, and we look forward to seeing you at the next Comic-Con.
Thanks, Eddie.
Courtesy, your friendly neighborhood Eddie.
Take care, man. Thank you.
See you, buddy.
Take care. Thank you.
Thanks. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's nice to kind of spread the word a little bit about the podcast, get some new people. I'll make sure I'm going to have to add him as a friend now and tag these guys on Facebook so they see it. But he said we can use his stuff. You guys heard it, so
You did.
it's great. It's legally binding now.
I own it.
I'm going to have to go back and listen because. I forget. I should have asked him that store that he went to if they do it for cheap. I'm curious to see what else they got.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because cosplaying can be kind of fun. I like that idea about what I mean. Like having people want to take pictures with you is I like more of the personally the lesser known. I was actually going to do a CW from the Flash Captain Cold's costume. I have the jacket. I have the goggles. I just don't have the hair. So
I was Heisenberg the year before.
Oh, see, there you go.
That was easy.
That's
super easy.
I've been contemplating with that, but the one I really want to do, and my friend who was X-23, she's like, you should definitely do it. I want to do the Juggernaut, classic Juggernaut, because bald head
for the crowd, are you?
Bald head, yeah. Well, no, I
people
mean,
down.
I'm not going to make fake muscles. I'm gonna have to hit the gym a little bit more. But no, I just with the helmet on there, it covers most of your face. I mean, I could be kind of convincing.
Something like that Hulk cosplay.
Yeah, there was. Check out. I don't know if you guys saw that, but on our Facebook
crazy.
page we have. KB was in front of the Hulk. The guy must have been walking on stilts or something.
Yeah, I think it was kind of the feet were kind of like plaster or something that he was standing on, platform.
I can't imagine spending the day on stilts.
Yeah, I mean, walking around for
crowd.
yeah, exactly.
Last year at Comic-Con, we saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this was probably one of the best cosplays that we saw. Axel Foley.
Yes.
It was Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop people.
That's right.
For those of you who
Eddie
don't
Murphy.
know.
Yeah.
This guy walked by and I recognized him immediately. He looked, first of all, he looked exactly like Eddie Murphy. He had the Detroit Lions jacket, and we did actually get pictures with him because his costume was so stunning. But what I found really awesome about it is I actually Googled a picture of Eddie Murphy in that suit later on.
He looks a lot like him.
Not only does he look a lot like him, but he even had the same pins on his jacket.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the same
the
order.
attention to
So detail.
That attention to detail was
awesome.
unbelievable.
We got a picture with him.
We did, and it's
did like a
it's
group shot.
it was
that's cool.
just an amazing, but he didn't paint anything. There was no foam bits to his costume, but it was awesome.
Very cool. Very
that
cool.
was
Well,
that was a really good one.
we have about 25 minutes left before Facebook Live ends our video. But I want to say, since you talked about taking a group video, do you want to give a shout out to some of your friends that might be watching and commenting right now on your shirt?
On my shirt, who's commenting on my shirt?
Arthur.
Arthur. Well,
But I know we have the crew
Yeah.
that usually goes to.
Yeah.
So if you want to give him a shout out,
And Arthur's in that picture with Axel Foley.
Yep, he met him. Arthur is actually another good friend of mine who does attend these cons with Obi-Wan and I. This shirt was actually a gift from Arthur, so thank you, sir. And for the subtlety of this shirt, this is actually, although it looks like a some kind of athletic shirt, it's actually Battle Cat from
It's
He-Man.
Cringer.
It is Cringer, but in his eye is actually a small picture of Castle Grayskull.
There you
so
go.
It's one of those very subtle.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm a nerd on the weekends kind
Well,
of
yeah.
shirt,
So I love stuff like that. Like I won't necessarily wear a shirt that'll be like a picture of like Green Lantern or something. But the symbol, where like only those in the know. It's kind of like almost like a secret handshake, if you will. Like if somebody recognizes like the symbol or whatever you're wearing on the shirt, like, oh, I get that. That's cool.
Right.
Then it's like, okay, I'm among my people when they say.
We don't have a secret handshake though, for the record. So
No.
it was just the shirt.
Maybe
It was a
you
gift.
don't.
You do?
I can't tell you. It's a secret.
And Obi's got some fans on here
Oh
too.
no, I have fans on there.
Yeah, you do. So.
One of them's got to be my wife.
I believe that's the one that's saying Obi's smoke show and he's hot.
God, I hope it's my wife.
Yeah, really.
All right, so we got about 20 minutes left. So let's go into my favorite segment. And I know you guys are kind of into this too. And you like the theme song.
I do.
Oh, we call this segment where we're going to rank our top 3 people that we want to see next year at Rhode Island Comic Con. We call this segment The Final Countdown.
It's the final countdown. The final countdown. Yeah. Whoa.
The Final Countdown. So this is where we're going to go. We're going to start with our guests. We're going to start with Obi. Then we're going to Jared. Then we're going to go to KB. Then we're going to go to me. We're going to start with number 3. So who the top 3 people we want to see next year at Rhode Island Comic Con. So Obi, who is your number 3?
My number 3 is Linda Carter.
Wonder Woman.
Oh, I'm pulling that one out of obscurity, I know, but I used to watch Wonder Woman when I was a kid, and you know what? She's still looking really good. And you get the Wonder Woman movie coming out. What is it, in the spring?
Yep.
I believe, right? So there's still going to be a lot of interest in the character. The comic book is doing really well right now. It'd be outstanding if she could come to that.
So I'll say this real quick. I know we were talking about the CW shows.
Yeah.
Did you don't watch Supergirl?
No.
Linda Carter plays the president
See?
on Supergirl, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she plays
So that'd be great.
because she even makes a joke about like where Supergirl says, "Oh, I love, it's really cool. I get to see Air Force One." She goes, "If you think that's cool, you should see my other jet."
Oh,
And
see?
it's such a great inside joke.
So
So
that's awesome. Now
so-
I'm gonna have to start watching that.
yeah, so that you're number 3,
Yeah,
Linda
Carter.
Jared, you're number 3.
My number 3, I spoke earlier about Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. What I found a little disappointing was that she was the only one from that unbelievable cast from that show. Prior to Comic-Con, I had seen her, Galen Matarazzo, and Caleb McLaughlin. They were on several, late-night TV shows, the Chelsea Handler Show, and they were a great bunch of kids on the interview. And I don't want to beat a dead horse here with talking about Stranger Things, but I think it would be nice to see them all in one setting, if not the entire cast of that show, kind of like what they did with Boondock Saints at MegaFest a few years ago. If they had a panel of just these Stranger Things kids, or just these 3, I think that would be a pretty awesome lineup.
That is pretty, like, it would go kind of like, because it's striking while the iron is hot. Like, Stranger Things came out, and it's like, it took Netflix by storm.
It did, and they didn't even have a season 2 planned because they didn't know it was going to be so awesome. But the fact that then they're now scrambling to get things rolling, I think it would be, like you said, strike while the iron's hot. So, but I honestly, I mean, it's one of those things where you watch this show and you really hope that these kids make it in Hollywood, because they're part of an amazing show.
There's a lot of talent.
And they have a huge amount of talent. And I actually follow all 3 of them on Instagram, and they just seem like really, really good, down to earth kids. And seems like they're having a great time. And I just hope they don't go down Lohan Road. But I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I think because Netflix is as much as Netflix is putting out amazing shows right now, it's still not. I don't know if the stars there are necessarily going to be considered like, somebody that's on ABC or NBC.
Right.
So I think if it's a slow, not necessarily humbling them, but just kind of like you get that
Right.
stardom,
Yeah.
and then you can kind of work on, your catalog of work and continue to grow as a star and not necessarily get to that point where
Right.
you have everything right away.
Right.
And then once it's taken away from you, now that's when you kind of get messed up.
Right.
So that's your number 3.
Those are my threes.
KB.
My number 3, The Flash, Grant Gustin.
See, he was going to be on my list. But we'll talk about that. Why would you say that?
Just because, you got me into The Flash. I hadn't watched it, and I just had to watch like 2 or 3 episodes. I had to watch a few. I couldn't get into it in the first one. But I just fell in love with the show, and I just now, like, I know there's been other Flashes, but I just feel like he is the Flash now to me. And, somebody that I'm watching every week. I think he's a great actor. I love the way he portrays the part on the show. And, I just want to meet the guy. I want to meet the Flash, man.
Cool.
Simple as that.
Cool.
That's my number 3.
Number 3. Yep. Okay, so we're going to start with my number 3, and I'm going to put a little caveat here. I didn't give this to these guys, so it was kind of like a last-minute thing. I was thinking of it to myself, like, Grant Gustin would be cool to meet, and that's why I was thinking about putting him on my list. But I'm like, in my opinion, in my caveat, I'm going to put people that I think, not necessarily, I don't want to use the word attainable, but I mean, like, you're not going to have, like, I would love to meet Chris Pratt, don't get me wrong. But I think right now, I don't think he's going to be appearing at Rhode Island Comic. Like, so my list is essentially those that I think are attainable, for lack of a better term. And my number 3 to start off with is somebody that I had the opportunity to meet at Boston Comic Con a couple years ago, and I just missed him. He must have went and done something else, and he's a comic book writer, and his name is Scott Snyder. He has written some incredible Batman.
Probably the best Batman stories I've
Court
read
of
in a
Owls.
long time.
And I will say this: have you read The Gates of Gotham?
I haven't, not yet.
Okay, so Gates, that's kind of, he was doing like an end piece, like a little 3 or 4 page bit at the end of the Batman comics. So it spanned over like 6 issues, and he did this Gates of Gotham storyline. It's absolutely amazing. So anyone that's a comic book fan, a
gotta
Batman
check that
fan,
out.
it's basically, it has nothing to do with Batman. It has to do with the history of Gotham. So it makes Gotham into a character, and it's so well written. And it's about this family that basically they were one of the 5 big families that helped found Gotham, but they're kind of like the forgotten ones. So you have the Cobblepots, you have the Elliots, you have the Waynes, and then you have, I can't remember the characters' names, but it was Scott Snyder, like really like sinking his teeth into the universe of Gotham. And then from there he became, one of the head writers, and he did the Batman, and he did the Court of Owls.
Court of Owls
Death
is
of the Family,
unbelievable.
not Death in the Family, Death of the Family.
Family.
So many good arcs, and now he's doing All-Star Batman, which is really, really cool. So I missed him at Boston Comic Con like 2 or 3 years ago. So he's my number 3. I'd like to meet him. So from number 3 to number 2, going back to Obi-Wan.
My number 2 is Clancy Brown, mostly known for playing the Kurgan in the original Highlander movie.
Yes.
But his voiceover work is all over. He's Mr. Krabs, for crying out loud, on SpongeBob. He plays a great Luthor on the DC, all the DC animated stuff. But that's just I love his voice. Any movie he's been in, I just like his characters. He's definitely a guy I would like to sit and chat with for a little bit.
That's awesome. So that's your number 3.
My number 2.
I'm number 2.
That's number 2.
I can't keep count.
That's cool.
I'm doing like 50 things at once,
You're doing fine.
That's your number 2. Jared, your number 2.
My number 2 is going to have to be William or Bill Allen. And for those of you who don't know, he played Crew Jones in the 1986 feature film Rad, which happens to be one of my favorite films of all time. A couple of years ago, they had the 25th anniversary, and he actually he did make some appearances with some of the other cast members and the stunt crew, and he really hasn't done much since that movie, and I think we've seen some of those celebrities at these cons where they've done 1 or 2 things, 20 or 30 years ago, and they haven't done much since. But for me, that movie was a huge part of my life when I was a kid. So that would definitely be somebody I'd like to meet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Great number 2. Cool. KB?
My number 2 would be Donald Logue from Gotham.
Great choice.
He is a great actor.
He is.
And I'm so happy to finally see him in Gotham on a permanent role.
Yeah.
Because he was great in SVU for a while, and he was awesome in Sons of Anarchy. as
Harvey Bullock's a great character too.
Yeah,
He's
so,
perfect. He's perfect.
So
for
it was
that.
just great to see this actor get his due, and beyond. Those are 3 of my favorite shows. So, well, I think SVU everybody's kind of seen. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, he's a great actor. His role in Sons of Anarchy was just amazing. So yeah, I mean, he's just really, and like I was thinking about what you were saying. Attainable, somebody that would probably be there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah, that's definitely my.
If you can get
number
the
2.
Penguin on there, then I
Yeah,
think you
should be able to
Bullock.
get Donald Logue on there. Yeah. So yep, that's my number 2.
My number 2 is another person that I almost had a chance to meet and go to his one-man show, but then he canceled, and we got refunded for the tickets. He's a director. He's actually directed a couple of episodes of The Flash, and to kind of tie it back to what we did, we met Ming from Comic Book Men. He's pretty much the guy that owns that comic book store, Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
I would really like to meet Kevin Smith, see him there. I mean, I think him and I, for a big dude with a backwards baseball cap and facial
We'd
hair.
have a great conversation.
Right? Does it remind you of anybody, though? But no, I think him and I are very similar. Like I've been Silent Bob for Halloween multiple years in a row. But I think that and his passion, the reason I started this podcast is because I used to listen to Fat Man on Batman.
Isn't that's?
And I love
that
he
show.
brings the energy and the passion and just the knowledge, and he's just so passionate about that subject matter. And he actually did, and I'm a big fan of live reactions too, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I like to watch. But with The Flash, I'm not going to give any spoilers because I don't know where everybody's caught up yet. But the season 1 finale, he recorded himself watching it, and you see tears streaming down his face just because it's something he's so passionate about these characters, and just to know that like here's somebody that's big in Hollywood that has such reverence for these fictional characters and loves how, for lack of a better term, they're characterized in any type of media, whether it be on print or on film or on television. He just loves these characters and he wants to see them done right. And Flash is his kind of go-to, and to that he went into Arrow a little bit. It's just I'm really, and he's directing an episode of Supergirl. So.
What hasn't he done? In the geek world, what hasn't he done?
Well, and we even played clips from Mallrats before with Stan Lee. We talk about.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Dogma's a great movie. Chasing Amy. If you would just like
dialogue's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a dialogue writer. And if anybody hasn't seen it, I don't know if you guys have seen it. His first almost like a stand-up special. He did like a talk
evening
in front of
with
an evening
Kevin
with Kevin Smith.
Smith.
I don't.
It's
Some of the
hysterical,
funniest stories. I watched that, and he tells stories about working. With
writing the Superman script.
or Bumble Ward, and he talks about Tim Burton and how Tim Burton. Just so many good stories, and he has great fan interaction. He's very quick on his feet. He kind of solicits questions from fans, like a Q&A type thing. And one guy, I'm not going to give it away, and it's a little dirty, but the kid's name is Geek, and he does this whole bit. So check out that scene from An Evening with Kevin Smith. It's hilarious. So that's my number 2. So now we're moving into our number 1 spot. Obi-Wan, your number 1 pick on who you'd like to see next year at Rhode Island Comic Con.
My number 1 pick is the king of B movies, Bruce Campbell.
That is a great pick.
Who doesn't love Bruce Campbell? Seriously, I mean, he's fantastic. Evil Dead aside, he was awesome on Burn Notice. I don't know if you've read it. He has a couple of books out, which are absolutely hysterical. I think one of them's autobiography-ish, but it's just great. So I think he would be an awesome guest. I think he would mingle really well with the fans. And he would be another one that would, I'd stand in line quite a while to meet him.
That's a great pick. And is it on Stars or Showtime that I can't remember what the series he's doing. Ash versus
the Evil Dead, Stars.
Okay, so and you know what I mean, like that he could be like not a headliner per se, but he's still staying current. He's got that show, and it's an amazing show.
He's got a big following. So,
yeah, I think he'd be awesome. So great number 1.
Thanks,
Jared. Your number 1.
My number 1 has been the same person for the past few years now. I've always wanted to meet Josh Gates. For those of you who probably don't know who Josh Gates is, he was the host of Destination Truth and then Expedition Unknown. I don't even know if Expedition Unknown is still on the air, but his sense of humor on those shows, he just seems like a very approachable kind of guy. He's not a huge celebrity. I mean, he was on I'd probably call them B shows, really.
Yeah.
So he's not a huge celebrity, definitely attainable. He's got a degree in archaeology, and he does conferences and he does talks. And I've always wanted to see him at one of these conventions in this area, and it just hasn't happened yet. So although he's not the guy that most people would probably recognize, he's definitely my number one as far as people
That's cool.
I wanted to
that's
be.
a cool
But
pick.
but here's the thing. This is what I love about the show is the intent of the show originally was whatever you geek out about, whatever you're passionate about.
Yeah.
That's what I want to kind of explore and get into, and that's great. If that's what you're into, that's so awesome. So that's a great number one. So good job, KB. Go for it.
My number one, and I've mentioned his name on the show before, and a lot of people were like, "Who is that?" Getting back to your point, but maybe those named Keith David.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people. Like I don't think Jeff wasn't too familiar with it.
his-
He's done a lot of work.
His voice of the Spawn.
Yes.
On the HBO. animated
Voice of
series
Spawn.
was oh, my
Voice
God.
of Spawn
It was
in
awesome.
Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick. That was real acting. That wasn't
Goliath
voiceover.
and Gargoyles.
Goliath and Gargoyles.
Yep.
Video games,
Oh,
Mass
yeah.
Effect, Saints Row. He's very diverse in TV, movies, and games. And he just seems like a very personable guy. And his voice, he just has that voice.
His voice is awesome.
You know his voice. Like
it-
you
it
cannot.
sticks right out.
It sticks right out.
Yep.
And he's done. If you look at his list of credentials, it's
He
ridiculous.
he fought Roddy Piper and They Live.
yeah.
you go.
Yeah. It's Saints Row.
Another great flick.
Saints Row. It's kind of funny too with the Rowdy Piper thing. But anyway, he just seems like an amazing guy and a good seems like he has a great personality and everything. And yeah, man, that's my number one. Very diverse.
I like the fact that we're all pretty
I think
much.
he did a Batman voice too. At some not Batman, but I think he was in one of the animated shows at one point
I'm
too.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure he was on the Batman the Animated Series.
I think he
yeah,
was,
he must
yeah.
have been at some point. I think everybody was.
yeah,
I think
mean,
Jared was.
I was. I
There it
was.
is.
we're actually going to do a show, Batman the Animated Series. We're going to be doing our top 5 episodes. We have the Don. I don't know if you heard 2 weeks ago, but he's really into the Spider-Man animated series, Batman the animated series, the X-Men animated series. We're going to have a show eventually where we're going to rank all that. So if anybody wants to be on, if you guys are, we'll do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my number one, and this is a kind of a not necessarily an out of left field, but it's just from what you would expect from me. My favorite television show of all time, and some people are going to love it, and some people are going to hate it, is a television show called Lost.
Great show.
A great show. My favorite character on that show, Benjamin Linus. I would love to meet Michael Emerson because I think that guy is probably one of the most talented actors in Hollywood that doesn't get enough recognition. He played, was it Finch on, what's that other show that he was on? I can't think of, Person of Interest. He was on Person of Interest.
Yep.
But what I remember him, and if you haven't seen Lost, spoilers, but it's been over for a while. He
shame on you if you haven't
played
seen it.
theoretically the leader of the others, the indigenous people to the island, Benjamin Linus, and he played. You never knew he played such a creepy character, but he was so talented because he could be menacing, he could be creepy, and then he could just be like almost like a clown at the same time, or just like. This guy is not even a threat, but then he speaks, or you see the twitch in his eye, or just like the way his mouth, kind of goes into the corners, and it's like, wow, this guy's a dick. He's planning something, and you never know what side he's on. He's such a brilliant actor, and if you can, before Jimmy Fallon had the Tonight Show, he had a Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. Michael Emerson did a reading of Little Boy Blue, the poem. And it's super creepy. The camera pans on his face, and he gets really serious. And it's worth a look on YouTube. So check that out. Little Boy Blue, Michael Emerson. It's hysterical. So that's my number one. So guys, this is an episode of For You Geek, Comic-Con, Collectables,
Awesome.
Nerding Out. How do you guys feel?
Great. Can we do this again
Yeah.
maybe tomorrow?
Yeah, well, you guys are welcome back.
Yeah,
we'll
definitely.
We'll
Okay.
plan something out. I think we're doing bi-weekly right now, but before we go out, and KB, we're going to plug all our stuff. Again, check out Pachico's Furniture. Check out Unique Customs. Check out Phoenix Marketing. You see there the ads flashing on the screen right now in the the bottom right-hand corner. So check them out. They have a lot of sales going on, a lot of deals. And again, Pachico's Furniture is donating a Cody box. If you share this video, they're going to put your name in a hat, draw that name out, and they're going to be drawn Monday, December 5th on the Wise Ass podcast. And then you'll win a free Cody box where you can watch Netflix and Hulu and live TV and apps. And all of that's free of you. It's free of charge for you. So check that out, Pachico's Furniture. Also check out Phoenix Marketing. They have some positions for the Director of Sales Associates. And that number's on the screen where you see it right now hiring. So check that out. And then we're going to throw up what we like to call the bat signal. So does anybody have anything they want to plug? Instagram, Twitters, Facebooks, anything that you guys want to kind of get more eyes and ears on?
You can find me, my toy collection, and actually that's pretty much it. My toy collection is on Instagram at the Retro Toy Pile. That's all one word. The Retro Toy Pile. I post pictures of my collections, items, my flea market acquisitions, and anything else that I think geeks like me would be interested in.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm following them on, and For Your Geek, it should be. If not, they will be.
I didn't see it yet.
Oh, we're going to.
We'll get there.
I'm a little slow on the Instagram.
All right,
but,
great.
Obi?
You can follow me on Facebook at Chris Obi-Wan Benjamin, or my Instagram, which I'm starting to put more pictures of my toys up right now, but it's DJ_Obi-Wan77.
DJ_Obi-Wan77. Okay, so For Your Geeks can be following as well.
Thank you.
KB, go ahead, plug everything else, buddy.
Well, follow us on, what do we got? Instagram, Twitter, the
Instagram,
whole
Twitter,
shebang.
For Your Geek, all one word.
jfreethegeek.com.
jfreethegeek.com, my website. But yeah, For Your Geek on Instagram and Twitter is our main thing, and then our Facebook page, which if you're watching the live video on our Facebook page.
Yep.
If not, if you're watching it on YouTube a little bit later, we're For Your Geek on YouTube. We put the episodes up about 2 weeks after we stream it live. So this episode will be up in about 2 weeks on our YouTube page.
Covers of the week.
Covers of the week on our Facebook page.
Always
KB
fun.
does Marvel. I do DC. So there wasn't a lot of love for DC this week.
Good
but
Marvel this week.
Some good Marvel stuff. Anything else? Are we forgetting anything? I'm sure.
No, just look for more content from us because we're
check out all the social
gonna be
media
working on
stuff.
some
Yeah,
stuff,
that's why we're going bi-weekly. We're going every other week now because next week now we're going to be working on next week's show and putting out more content on those different social media apps. So check that out. Before we head out, KB, go ahead.
Start your weekend with your geek friends and get your geek on.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.